ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وسخر لكم ما في السماوات والأرض جميعا منه إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون صدق الله العظيم.
استيلكم لا بد نيات من تحقيقاتهم بتلي BBN وين بركة جاتون يلتلاك دون يدور لي من لك بيني لا بزي بداية ما شاء الله لما كان صادق جزاك الله خير انك صادق انك كيف بتوقعهم اسماعيل الله اسماعيل يعني لا سلسة تركي هذا الرجل أبوه سورين أولكاري وندفيت سورين سلام مالكو راسنا أولكاريس بدأت تبصاكتو حساب كيرا وين سورين ماولك حساب كيرا يالو كادتينياو جرناو وندماتشن يسوع كتاتو سلام نيجي يسوع كتاتو لكن كتابه ممكن يسوع ما يكتبه من بوجاشنا برجع مستكاتو برجع ما كبراتو نعم بمتبابراتو كلام تيجي كمستكاتو بعض ساعتنا اللي كاوست ما كلا يستعرض سوتشان لأن نتاجو سماعتو ما نكرر لذي نا هي كوميشن لنا سيون لنا زيلاي من ناقر نفرق من بينور ሁላችንም ይሄንን ጉዞ ሲጀምረውና ይሄንን ነገር ስንሰራው ወይ ደግሞ እኔም ወደዚህ ኮሚኒቲ መጥቼ ስቀላቀል አንድ ያመጣኝ ነገር አለ። ያ ምንድነው? ራስን መምሰል ወይም ደግሞ ራስን መስሎ በራስ መተማመን የሚሉት ነገር ሁሌ ያንገበግበኝ ነበረ ከልጅነቴ ጀምሮ ማለት ነው። ዛሬ ራስን መስሎ መኖርና በራስ መተማመንን ወንድሞቼ በፕሮፌሽናሎች በዶክተር አባደር ወንድማችን አሪሳላ ራስን መስሎ ስለ ራስ መናገር ወይም ደግሞ ሌሎች ስላንተ ከመናገራቸው ፋንታ አንተ ስለ ራስህ የምትናገርበትን እውነታ ያንን አይተናል ማለት ነው። ፎርዛት ማተር ጠበቃም ተማም አባቡ ሁላችንም ቅድም ተስተን ያጨበጨብንለት የጮህንለት ተማም አባቡ ብቻ ስለሆነ አይደለም ቢኮዝ ሰልፍ ኮንፊደንስ ስላሉና ራሱን የመሰለ ሰው መሆኑ ነው። እና ይሄ ሁሉ ነገር ደግሞ ስናስበውና ዳቶችን ከታተን ስንመለከተው ፈርስት ሂጅራ ይሄንን ኦፖርቹኒቲ ባይፈጥርልን ኖሮ ወይም ደግሞ ከፈርስት ሂጅራ ሬዲዮ ጋር እነዚህን ነገሮች ባንጀምራቸው ኖሮ እዚህ ደረጃ ላይ ባልደረስን ነበረ። ስለዚህ ለዚህ ሁሉ ነገር በማመቻቸት ደረጃና ከፍተኛ አስተዋጽኦ በማድረግ ፈርስት ሂጅራ ያደረገልን ነገር በተለይ ነው ለማመስገን ወድጃለሁ። ኮንፊደንስ ያልኩኝ በልጅነት የሚያንገበግበኝና የሚያቃጥለኝ ጉዳይ ነበር። ራሴን መስዬ መኖር ፈልጋለሁ። ራሴን መስዬ ጋዜጠኛ መሆን ፈልጋለሁ። እኔ ሙስሊም ነኝ። በሙስሊምነቴ እኮራለሁ። ግን ብዙ ነገሮችን በምንመለከትበት ሰዓት ኢትዮጵያ እያለን በተለይ ልጆች እያለን እነዚህ ችግሮችን እናይ ነበረ ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ከተለያዩ የመገናኛ ብዙኃን ዓለም አቀፍ የመገናኛ ብዙኃን የመስራት ምን ነበረ ምናልባት እዚህ መድረክ ላይ ማውራቱ ተገቢ አይደለም። ግን ያ ራስን የመምሰልን ነገር ዲና የሚያደርገን ከሆነ ለምን አይቀርም ከሚልም አንጻር የተደረጉ ነገሮች ሊሆኑ ይችላሉ ማለት ነው። ራስ ለምሳሌ ድሮ የእኛ ማስታወቂያ እንዴት ይነገር ነበር? ትዝ ይለኛል ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ኢትዮጵያ ሬዲዮ ላይ ገና ወጣት ጎረምሳ እያለሁ ሄደን ማስታወቂያ ሰርተን ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ በኢትዮጵያ አየር ላይ ድምፄን ሳሰማ ያልኩት ማስታወቂያ እስከዛሬ ድረስ ነው። ቀደም ሲል ማስታወቂያውን ሌሎች ነበር የሚጽፉት። በኋላ ግን ማስታወቂያችንን ለራሳችን መጻፍ ጀመርን እና ማስታወቂያው ምን እንደሆነ አስታውሰዋለሁ። ብቸኛው የሙስሊሞች አንደበት ቢላል መጽሔት ለአምስተኛ ጊዜ በገበያ ላይ የዛሬ ቄስ እስላምን ከተቀበሉ በኋላ 30,000 ሰዎችን አሰለሙ። ከአረባይቱ መካ የተነሳው እስላም ጎርፍ ይህ ነው በማይባል ፍጥነት ወደፊት እየገሰገሰ ነው። ሊበሏት የፈለጓትን አሞራ ስሟን ይሉታል ጅብላ እንዲሉ የእስላም አክራሪነት የተጠራቀቀ ጥያቄ ሙስሊሞች ግብ አይደለም። ይህንን እና ሌሎችንም ያካተተው ቢላል መጽሔት በተከታዩ ሳምንት መጀመሪያ ላይ በገበያ ላይ ይሆናል። ለማከፋፈል የምትፈልጉ ሀብተ ጊዮርጊስ ድልድይ በሚገኘው የድርጅቱ የሽያጭ ክፍል መጥታችሁ መመዝገብ ትችላላችሁ። እንደ ሙስሊም ነው እንደ ሙስሊም ጋዜጠኛ ነው የሰራው። ስለዚህ ይሄ ነው ራስን የመምሰል አባዜ ወይም ራስን የመምሰል ፍላጎት እዚህ ቦታ ላይ የሚያቆየን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ብዙ ጊዜ እንናገራለን ምን ያህል ዶክተሮች አሉን በሶሳይቲ ውስጥ፣ ምን ያህል ሐኪሞች አሉን፣ ምን ያህል ነርሶች አሉን፣ ምን ያህል የህግ ባለሙያና ጠበቆች አሉን፣ ምን ያህል ኢንጂነሮች አሉን ብለን እንናገራለን። ምን ያህል ጋዜጠኞች አሉን ብለን አጠናቅረን እናውቃለን፣ አስታውሰን እናውቃለን። ኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ ወደ 100 ሚሊዮን እያሻቀበ ነው ብለን እንናገራለን። ከ100 ሚሊዮኑ 50 ሚሊዮኑ ሙስሊም ነው ብለን እንናገራለን። በአሁኑ ሰዓት ያንን 50 ሚሊዮን ወይም ያንን ግማሽ የኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ የሚያገለግል አንድ ጋዜጠኛ በኢትዮጵያ መሬት ላይ ይራመዳል? የለም። ያንን ህዝብ የሚያገለግል አንድ መጽሔት አለ? የለም። ያንን ህዝብ የሚያገለግል አንድ ጋዜጣ አለ? የለም። ስለዚህ የሚዲያ አስፈላጊነት ልብ ልንለው ይገባል። የወደፊቱ ኃይላችን የወደፊቱ ለውጣችን ከመገናኛ ብዙኃን ጋር የተገናኘ በመሆኑ ያሉትን ጅማሮችን ልናሳድግ ይገባል። ቢቢኤን ማዳመጡ ያስቀጣል፣ ማዳመጡ ያሳስራል፣ ማዳመጡ ማዕከላዊ ያስገባል። በጃዳዊ ሀረካት ላይ ታይተናል አይደለም? ምን ስላደረገ ስቲል በሰላማዊ ትግል ውስጥ ነው አይደለም ያለ ነው። ስለዚህ ቢቢኤን እንዴት ነው የሚዘጋጀው ብላችሁ ታስታውሳላችሁ? ቢሮ አለን? የለን። ስቱዲዮ አለን? የለን። የት ነው የምንሰራው? 24 ሰዓት የሚሰራጭ ሳተላይት ጣቢያ ነበረን። አሁን ኢንሻአላህ ዛሬ መጀመር ነበረበት፣ በሚቀጥለው ሳምንት ይጀምራል። እሱም ብዙ ጃም ይደረጋል፣ ብዙ ጣጣዎች አሉ። አሁን ጃም የማይደረግ ሳተላይት ቻናል ላይ እንገባለን። በዚህ ቻናል ላይ ይህ ቻናል የሚከናወን ኬት ነው ከወንድሜ እስማኤል መኝታ ቤት ነው። AM ከኢትዮጵያ ሳተላይቱ ተቋረጠ አይሰማም ምንድነው አንዳንዴ ኮምፒውተር ችግር ይኖራል ተብሎ ሲነገር ከእንቅልፉ ተነስቶ የሚሰራው ሰው። ስለዚህ ልብ ልንለው ይገባል። አንድን ለውጥ ለማምጣት ጽናት ነው የሚያስፈልገን። አንድን ለውጥ ለማምጣት የጋራ ፍላጎት ነው የሚያምትን። አንድ ነገር ልንገራችሁ ስሰናችሁ እኔ ኮሚቴ መጥቼ በምደባለቅበት ሰዓት ወንድሜ ነጅብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ላይ ሆኖ ወደ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ መምጣት እንዳለብኝ ኦፈር ሲያደርገኝ ለመምጣት ወሰንኩ። ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ ከእናንተ ጋር መጥቼ በምሰራበት ሰዓት ለ7 ዓመት ለ8 ዓመት አንድ የዋሻዎች ይሸጣል ሊጋሊ ደንቆሮ ነው። ሰዎችን ኢንተርቪው ለማድረግ በምፈልግበት ሰዓት የሰዎችን ከንፈር እያየሁ ነበረ በዛ ሰዓት ሰራ ነበር አሁን ደግሞ እዚህ ጋር ነበረ ሼህ መሐመድ ስራጅ አላህ ጤናቸውን ያርዝምልና እሳቸውን ኢንተርቪው ለማድረግ በሚሄድበት ሰዓት ድምጻቸው ስለማይሰማኝ የሚያግዘኝ ሰውና የሚያሰማኝ ሰው ያስፈልገኝ ነበረ ሳዲቅ ለምን ቢቢኤን ላይ ተሰራለህ ብላችሁ ብትጠይቁኝ ከተወሰኑ ዓመታት በፊት ዶንፎሎ ስላነበርኩኝ ሊጋሊ ከተወሰኑ ዓመታት በኋላ ጤናዬን ስላገኘሁኝ ለዛ አምላክ ለዛ ፈጣሪ አመስጋኝ ለመሆን
American embassy ሄዶ ከልክለውታል ለዚህ ነው ያመጣው እንጂ ዛሬ ሁላችን ሰርፕራይዝ ለማድረግ አስበን ነበር እና ቪዛውን ፕሮጀክት ስላደረጉት ነው ይሄንን ሰርቲፊኬት ማባል ለዶክተር አውሎ ለዶክተር አባል ሰጥቶ ደስ ይላል አለ
receiving his certificate. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu
in downtown Toronto area and was heavily, let me go there. He graduated from Oakwood College Institute. He graduated at the top of his class. It was named valedictorian before enrolling at Rice University and graduating from Radio and Television Arts program in 2011. In 2007, Mohammed won the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation Poetry Face Off Best New Artist Award. He also has a playwright residency at the Theatre Passé Morel, I think it's French, in Toronto. He has appeared on TEDx Toronto and has had a short story published in Penguin, Canada, an anthology called Piece by Piece. Besides poetry and theater, Mohammed is the founder of Safina Media, an Islamic media production company, and has continued the art of storytelling through various platforms of media. So he's going to do what he's doing today.
Again, we have to recognize the young activists. I would call you activists. Religiously and otherwise, inshallah, Bona Muhammad is well known, especially when I heard about him, it was 2 years ago at Maryland University. You were there, I guess? Missed program. And my daughters were telling me how this wonderful young Bona, first I thought Bunna, you know. But I heard him so many times. He's all over YouTube. Try to go to YouTube, just say Bona Muhammad, and you will hear how wonderful speaker he is. And in recognition of his work with the youth, especially the youth, and for being a role model for so many of them, turning their lives around actually. Bona has turned the life of so many Muslim young men and women, inshallah. Come on.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I want to thank you for inviting me, for being here with you today. DC is a beautiful community, alhamdulillah, and you have a great community here. I'm very honored that you've invited me to speak here today. And can we give a big takbir for the takbir guy here, mashallah?
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
I think a new takbir is I never seen a person give takbir so enthusiastically, mashallah. It scared me at first. I never make sure he's
It's Arab.
So I wanted to speak a little bit about, maybe a little bit of a different perspective on this issue. You know, myself being a first generation, I was actually born in Canada. Any Canadians here? No?
Yeah, well.
Allah Akbar. Yes, and okay. And we got free healthcare, so you should. I wanted to speak a little bit about the issue of the East African youth, particularly from the Horn of Africa, in the diaspora. For a lot of us here, you know, myself included, growing up in Canada was a very unique experience, especially understanding the dynamic of my parents and where my parents came from. Just so that I'm clear, how many people here were born in the U.S.? Raise your hands if you were born in the U.S. You all got here in the last 20 minutes or what? It's me and him. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many of you came here illegally? Raise your hands. Just kidding, don't raise your hands. So, just trying to put this understanding in context, okay? I want to talk about two things particularly. One is the understanding of social justice and how that relates to us being Muslims living in North America. So for a lot of us, we have left back home for various reasons. People have come here for many different reasons. That could be for economic development, that could be for political reasons, but you've ended up here for whatever reason. And now we find that there are issues that are affecting us particularly back home. And so, like anyone who has a connection to back home, we are trying our best to lobby our governments, we're trying our best to lobby our communities and rally them around this particular issue. The thing that I've always found very interesting though is that a lot of people don't really take an interest in Ethiopia. They don't really take an interest in what's happening in East Africa. And I think partly due to the fact that they don't really know who we are. And there's really very little connection to us living in the broader societies that we live in. You know, I'll give you just a brief example. If we wanted to make a mention of the struggles back home, and we wanted people to lend support to our struggles back home, they should have that desire inside of them to lend the support, partly because they see who we are as good people. You know, living in a post 9/11 society, we know that Islam is under the microscope. And for a lot of people, they're very curious, they're very, sometimes even scared about Islam and Muslims in particular. Now, for us, as a very unique community coming from, you know, east part of Africa, there's a lot of hostility to certain regions within East Africa. But knowing the situation that we're coming from, it's imperative that we garner the support of the people in our communities. And we have to be a shining example so that they will understand that we are people who are in need of their help. So, as a Muslim living in America, what is your obligation? What is your duty? You know, because Islam is not something that just exists back home. Islam is not something that we just put on our shelves and we dust it off, you know, once a month or once a year. Islam should be a way of life. And Islam should be for us an opportunity for people to see the beautiful characteristics and morals of our religion. And the example of the Prophet ﷺ. So I'll ask you just a very quick, just to get a better understanding of what is our collateral in this country. Okay, what is your collateral as a Muslim, as an Ethiopian or an Oromo, or you're from this region or that region? What is your collateral as a Muslim in this country? How many of you can say positively that you have good relationships with your neighbors? The people who live next to you, to the left of you and to the right of you. What is your relationship with them?
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Okay. I have a really bad relationship with my neighbors, I'll be honest with you. I have one neighbor who just plays music really loud and it just bothers me a lot. But I try and make a point of extending my hand to them and showing them, you know, anytime there's anything they need help with, I'll shovel the snow, I'll try and be there to help them in any way possible. Because I understand that that is not just a reflection of me, but it's also a reflection of me as a Muslim. And they know, go ahead, you clap. No takbir?
Allah Akbar.
So, just to give you a context, okay, just an understanding of the fact that when our neighbors and the people around us, they see us as virtuous, good people who harness values that they can appreciate, they will most likely be more willing to lend support to issues that are important to us. Okay, it's not fair that we come to these countries, we ask for political asylum, we show up here, and then we, take welfare and we, take what we can from the state, do our little bit, and then just go back home. Right? If you don't see yourself as a member of contributing to your society, then that's very un-Islamic, first and foremost. Because a Muslim is one who betters the society around him. When the Prophet ﷺ, when he moved from Mecca to Medina, okay, the people in Medina were absolutely ecstatic that they had somebody like him, ﷺ, in a position of leadership. Because he was a person who was fair, he was a person who was just, he didn't lie, he didn't cheat. He did so much for the community around him. How many of us can positively say that? That the community you live in has been enriched by your presence? How many of you can say that? Looking inside of yourself to say, wow, the people of DC, the people of America should be happy that I'm here. It's unfortunate that whatever is happening in the news is happening. There's an election coming up, you have some crazy people that are running, mashallah. I don't know how you guys, if Trump gets in, you guys just leave, come on. Just come to Canada, we're only hope. Okay? But I'm telling you this because what contributions have we made to counteract the negative perception that we hear about us in the media? If people are watching Fox News, and that's their version of that, Fox News is giving them information about Islam, what have you done? What do they know about you that will contradict that information? If we tell ourselves that, these guys are they're Islamophobic, they're racist, they're not, being factual in their reporting, it would be so easy if people just knew a Muslim. And they would say, oh, I know Muslims, I know Islam. That's not the way they are. Right? If they had that example, we wouldn't have the PR crisis that we have. You wouldn't have to always explain to everybody, hey, I'm not bad, I'm not a terrorist, I'm not this, I'm not that. People would just know. They would know. They would say, you know what, Muslims are the ones who helped build the first hospitals. Muslims are the ones who are educating our children. Muslims are the ones who are operating us in the operation rooms. There are doctors, there are lawyers, there are engineers, they're the people that we trust and love. But unfortunately for many of us, and I'm not picking or pointing anyone out in this room, we're treating the West like an airport. You just show up, you do what you have to do, and then you're somewhere home. You're going to be on your way home in a few years. Right? You don't really have much, you don't feel like you have much value here. Some people just honestly feel like they just come here for a little bit and they plan on dying back home. And if that's the case, that's fine. But social justice doesn't just exist there. Social justice starts with you being where you are right now and contributing to the society. That's my first point. My second point, and I think this is more relevant especially for the young people. There's not really that many young people here today. Is anyone here under the age of 25? Some of the uncles, mashallah, that's good. Maybe 25 years ago, I don't know. I don't think yet that young. But that's fine. For the people that are not in this room, why aren't they here? Ask ourselves that. Where are the youth? Where are the young people? I hope they're just not at home playing Xbox. I hope they're doing something more productive than that. It's a Sunday afternoon. Why don't they sympathize with the struggle that you are so passionate about? What have we done and what have we not done? Why is there a disconnect between us and our young people? There's a lot that we need to do to ensure that our young people stay Muslims even after we go. Some of us, when we want to go back home, some of us will die. Actually, all of us will die. We have no choice in that. But what will happen after you leave? What will be the situation of your youth? Because Islam, for many of us, unfortunately, is a cultural thing. Islam is a part of our culture because we say, oh, mashallah, tabarakallah, we were part of the first hijrah, right? We say we were from the people of Bilal, mashallah, tabarakallah. And so Islam is ingrained in our lifestyle and understanding. But unless we live a life that is true to Islam and we pass that on to our young people, don't be surprised 15, 20, 30 years from now when your young people don't really have Islam in their lives. So we need to make ourselves virtuous people who uphold the values of this deen. And we need to worship and love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to ensure that our children, hopefully, inshallah, will do the same. And then lastly, just on the topic of unity, I find that especially as my parents are oromo, they've been putting oromo propaganda in my head since they are born. This is how I grew up knowing even the context of where I come from, who I am. And me, like a lot of people, I have an identity crisis. Today it's so funny. I was at the hotel and I went to get a coffee. There's a lot of Amish people in DC walking around. I didn't realize that. Right? So a lady looked at me and said, "You look like you're Ethiopian." And I said, "Okay, my family's oromo." And she said, "Do you speak Amharic?" I said, "No." She said, "How come you're from Ethiopia, you don't speak Amharic?" I said, "I don't speak oromo either, by the way. My parents is people. You don't have to worry about it." Because for me, the cultural understanding is not the same as my parents. And I always kind of feel a little bit disappointed in the fact that we're such a big community, people coming from Ethiopia, from East Africa, but yet we're so divided. And there's so much more that brings us together than there is that divides us.
Amen.
But instead, what we choose to do is focus on the very few things that we have maybe that are different. And that becomes the focus of attention. And now, I hope, inshallah ta'ala, that the current situation back home is waking people up. And you see that, in fact, you are stronger united than you are divided. And unless there is a unified voice, unless there is a sense of unity, okay, from the bottom up, because it's easy to say, oh, blame the leaders. But we elect our leaders. Our leaders are a reflection of us. So unless we embody this understanding of unity amongst ourselves, and we know that Oromo is no better than Amhara or Tigray or anything, what is special about you is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you Islam. If you don't value that, wallahi, you're going to lose. And this deen of ours, wallahi, is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And unless we truly embody the values of Islam, like I was saying, then unfortunately, things like division, things like ignorance, they will prevail in our community. So first and foremost, we need to return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to really embody Islam. And second of all, we need to take those values and we need to apply them to the communities around us. We need to better the societies around us in order for us to benefit, in order for the people locally to benefit, and in order for the people abroad and across the seas to benefit as well, inshallah. I want to share with you just one small poem. I'm a poet, by the way. That's why I came here. I didn't do the talk. I let my rhymes do the talking. So inshallah, I'm going to share just one small piece with you all. It's called Pumpkin Seeds. You will not be asked about your culture in your grave. And you will not be judged based on your father's last name. When the trumpet blares, there will be no more kings, only slaves. And your family traditions will not be able to keep you safe. Your language will bring you no comfort on that day. And no one will care about the kind of food your mother used to make. The angel of death does not discriminate. No matter your ethnic group, clan, or race, we were created from the exact same clay. Many nations have come before. Many nations have been replaced, disgraced, and erased. So which one of you feels safe and which one of you remembers what life was like back in the day when we used to be brothers? And we used to stand up for one another. In the face of trouble, we used to love one another. And understand that your struggle is my struggle. We used to be one. A nation brought together in praise under the morning sun. For those who would dare, we would defend our rights to life and liberty. We used to care before then about the orphans or anyone else in despair. We used to believe in justice. We used to be fair. Unity was not a word, it was a state of mind. Before states, nations, and flags, we were mankind. From the same seed we were created into the our return. Now we are diseased with innovations in the fire left to burn. We seek to please heads of nations, compromising what we've learned. Indeed, this is a time of humiliation for those who are concerned. The state of our affairs is unbearingly absurd, taking enemies as friends after the wrath they have incurred. Empty threats and broken promises, vision is becoming blurred. Want to raise your hands up to the sky, but most of you are unsure that the end is coming near and only one can judge us. How can you be sincere when you forgot your purpose? This is the final frontier. Did you not think we would be tested, ridiculed, abused, confused, and arrested? Made to feel strange in a place that's infested. But blame is a game that they win uncontested. We like to huff and puff about all of our stuff being protected. But what's the point of reading books when you don't understand the message? Divided and conquered, but we used to be connected, and you didn't have to like us, but you still had to respect us. Every corner of the globe, but we still facing one direction, standing row by row. If not today, then on the day of resurrection, when there will be no protection without the permission of the one true God. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Takbir all day, mashallah. Because we used to be brothers. But today, I'm only really your brother until I ask to make your sister my bride. Because nowadays it ain't, girl, what's your size? It's, girl, what's your tribe? But what good are your eyes when taqwa is colorblind? And alhamdulillah, praise to the Lord of both you and I, who created us from difference that we may learn to love what's inside. Honored us with this religion, the last of its kind, and a messenger with a message for all mankind. But I wonder what he would say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to know that his ummah has gone astray, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He taught us how to behave, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He even taught us how to pray, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was the best who ever came, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So where is his example today, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He emphasized solidarity, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It seems like we have forgotten his ways, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because we used to be brothers. But how many of you would leave your own brothers on the front lines to die? There are children in Syria being buried alive. It's scary to think we change the channel before we change our minds. There is no hope for a nation that is not unified. Do you really see me as your brother, or am I just some guy? Do you protect me, or do you put me on trial? Because some of us are so stingy, we won't even donate a smile. SubhanAllah. Where is the love? The state of our ummah is that we forgot where we came from. But when your soul begins to quiver in the shade of your rattling chest, you will see that this world was nothing but an illusion you are in. Ya Bani Adam, don't be fooled by wicked men, because there is only one God, but enough people who don't remember him. I am your reflection. Our connection is stronger than that of any election. We seek protection in our Lord. May he grant us direction. May he make us amongst those who love each other for his sake. May he make us amongst those who will receive his grace. May he make us amongst those who have the honor of seeing his face. We ask Allah for his mercy. We ask Allah for his grace. We ask Allah to unite this ummah and to keep us safe. We thank Allah for the countless blessings that we receive every single day, and may we give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. Jazakallah khairan.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ini bapaknya ለመናገር መጥቻለሁ። የተከበራችሁ ተጋባዥ እንግዶች፣ ወንድሞችና እህቶች፣ በመጀመሪያ ደረጃ እስላማዊ ሰላምታዬ በማስቀደም አሰላሙ አለይኩም ወራህመቱላሂ ወበረካቱሁ።
ወአለይኩም ሰላም ወራህመቱላሂ ወበረካቱሁ።
በመቀጠልም ድርጅቴን የኦሮሞ ሙስሊም ፋውንዴሽን በመወከል ንግግር እንዳደርግ በመጋበዜ በራሴና በድርጅታችን ስም ምስጋና አቀርባለሁ። የኢትዮጵያ ሙስሊሞች ከ4 ዓመት በፊት 3 ጥያቄዎችን ለመንግስት ማቅረባቸው ይታወሳል። መንግስትም ህዝበ ሙስሊሙ አጥተው ከመንግስት ጋር እንዲነጋገሩ የወከላቸውን የመፍትሄ አፈላላጊ ኮሚቴ ተቀብሎ ሲያነጋግር ከቆየ በኋላ ነገሮች መንግስት በሚፈልገው መንገድ ሊሄዱለት ስላልቻሉ እነዚሁን የህዝበ ሙስሊም ተወካዮች በአሸባሪነት ከሶ ለእስር ከዳረጋቸው በኋላ ኢፍትሐዊ በሆነ ውሳኔ ከ7 እስከ 22 ዓመት እስራት ፈርዶባቸዋል። ህዝበ ሙስሊሙ ከመጀመሪያው ቀን ጀምሮ ጥያቄዎቹን በሰላማዊ መንገድ ለማስመለስ ትግሉን እየቀጠለ ሲሆን ኮሚቴዎቹ በመታሰራቸው ምክንያት ትግሉን እንዳልደከመ ድምፃችን ይሰማ አመራሩን በመያዝ ህዝበ ሙስሊሙን በአግባቡ እያታገለ ይገኛል። ድርጅታችንም ይህን የሙስሊሙን ትግል ሰላማዊና ህገ መንግስታዊ መብት መሆኑን ያምናል። ስለሆነም ለትግሉ ሙሉ ድጋፉን ይሰጣል። አሁንም ከሰሞኑ ጥቂት ወንድሞቻችን ከእስር በመፈታታቸው ለአላህ ምስጋናችን በማቅረብ ከትግሉ ሳንዘናጋና በይበልጥ ድምፃችን ይሰማ በሚሰጠው መመሪያ መሰረት ኮሚቴዎቻችን ሙሉ በሙሉ ያለ ቅድመ ሁኔታ በነጻ እስኪለቀቁ ድረስና ጥያቄዎቻችን እስኪመለሱ ድረስ ከህዝበ ሙስሊሙ ጎን በመቆም እስላማዊ ግዴታችንን እንወጣለን። መላው ዲያስፖራ ሙስሊም ክርስቲያን ለዚህ የመብት ጥያቄ ከጎናችን እንዲቆም ጥሪዬን አቀርባለሁ። ትግሉ እስከ ድል ደጃፍ በአላህ ፈቃድ ይቀጥላል። አላሁ አክበር።